Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see from the title, I'm reviewing, or rather giving just my thoughts for No Time to Die, which is the fifth and final Daniel Craig movie of James Bond. And you know, um, I'm not going to go through the storyline. I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts about the film and what I thought about it, and give it a rating as such. So. Do want to mention there was a little bit of controversy, which now I think sounds very silly. Having watched the movie, where there was a certain section of Twitter, especially certain section in social media, as it normally happens, um, were up in arms all over the fact that Lashana Lynch's character Nomi is going to be 007, and they said like 007 cannot be a woman. Let's get this straight. It's actually only a ranking or a designation, or not even a designation. It's more like, I don't know, an employee ID. You can call it as 007. The fact remains, James Bond is still James Bond, so there's no change over there. It's not like she's becoming Bond. It's just that she's taken over the mantle of 007, maybe their main um, agent for MI6. And there was a lot of hue and cry about it. So I didn't have a problem. I knew exactly what was going to happen. That she would be the new 007 designation. She's not becoming the new Bond. Because, and I don't have a problem if they would actually do a side by side role, or maybe a movie. Try out a couple of movies with a female Bond role. Maybe have her character in it. Her character continue, or maybe have somebody else come in. Don't have a problem. I'm not a big fan of the actress. She did come out being a little bit standoffish against Bond, so maybe that was the reason. I've only seen her in one other movie, and I didn't really feel, uh, that she had that kind of a presence to interest me over a full film. But we don't know. She might actually do a good job, but you could actually have somebody else also come in for the role. Just don't name her Jane Bond or Jane Bonded or something like that. I think there was a cartoon character, something like that, in one-off cartoon character called Jane Bonded. And I think it was in, I don't remember. I think it was in Johnny Bravo of all things. But anyway, having said that, let's look into the movie. No Time to Die is a 2021 spy thriller, of course, James Bond. 25th movie in the James Bond series, and it is the fifth and final one with Daniel Craig, because, spoiler alert, and I'm pretty sure this would have been out in the way before I say this, he dies in the movie, sacrifices himself basically. Directed by Kari Joji Fukunaga, the movie is starring, of course, Daniel Craig, Leah Sadu, Ben Whishaw, Naomi Harris, Jeffrey Wright, Christoph Waltz, Roy Kinnear, and Ralph Fiennes, all reprising their roles from the previous couple of films. Rami Malek is the main villain. Lashana Lynch, like I said, plays Nomi, who is the new 007. However, and I kind of had this feeling, she does tell M that, reinstate Bond as 007 instead, which felt good in the movie. Um, Billy Magnuson plays a double agent who's for the main villain Safin, as well as supposed to be a CIA agent. So he's a double agent. Anna de Armas, who's got a very small role in it. I actually enjoyed her role. She could be a good Bond. David Densick and Dali Ben Salah. So there's quite a lot of actors in this. So like I said, I'm not going to go through the storyline of it because it's brand new. I want a lot of people to go and watch it. I tend to do that for a lot of my reviews, but of course it's him getting pulled into action once again because of his friend Felix from the CIA. However, that Safin is behind it. Him splitting up from his lover Madeline Swan, because he thinks she may have set him up. She doesn't actually, but however, he does think that she is responsible. It's kind of like set up to be like that, but she isn't. I just find it's like very, very convenient that her childhood, the issue with her childhood, and Safin, I found that to be a lot of very contrived. And the fact that why would he actually let her live after getting shot by the child and then rescuing her and then letting her live, found to be a little bit strange. I was disappointed that Christoph Waltz's character is in it only for a little bit. He gets killed, as does Felix. Later, he also gets killed in the movie. Ricocheting bullet off Billy Magnuson's character. Um, and like I mentioned, there's a little. I don't know if there is a little bit of standoffishness between Nomi and Bond, because she wants to almost like a pissing contest, as I can actually put it. She wants him to back off because she's saying you're retired and things have changed since you've been gone for 5 years. But in the end they do come together and all that. The fighting scenes are pretty good. I think a lot of gunshots and all that stuff. I did enjoy the movie quite a bit. I must say, just a couple of things here and there that I did not like. I felt like the beginning part, Safin being connected to Madeline, I felt was a little bit contrived. The other thing was Lucifer. I don't know. It was almost like how do you pronounce this? Lucifer. Safin, almost like Lucifer. Rami Malek, I wish he was there a lot more in the movie. I mean, they didn't give him time to shine. They didn't give him the kind of material that he would have been really awesome at. I found his villainous character is actually pretty dangerous, and powerful, but at the same time, they didn't make him, like he isn't, charismatic. He isn't allowed to shine at all in this film. Like I was really disappointed. Of course, he would have been thrilled to play a Bond villain. What actor wouldn't want to be a Bond villain? But if you can't get the role of Bond, might as well be a Bond villain. But I found that to be a little bit odd choice for them. Like I think they should have given him, time and the material to actually flex his ability and have it out, duke it out with James Bond throughout the film, or at least a good chunk of the movie. But no. And Ana de Armas, I think she. And the other disappointment was that she's only in a big. As having seen her in the role in the movie, I think she would have. I mean, she's pretty good. So if they do go with another Bond, maybe they can bring her character in instead of Jeffrey Wright or something like that. I don't know. And of course, Christopher Waltz, like I already mentioned, was in it for very little. Everything else was pretty fine. The girl who plays, spoiler, James Bond has a daughter, and he sacrifices himself so that since he's infected, if he touches his love and Madeline and as well as the kid, they might get infected as well. He sacrifices himself when the missile launches and detonates on that particular place, the island machine as such. Just checking something on my phone here, and speaking about Daniel Craig's movies, let me just put all those things into context. I love Casino Royale. Although most people piss on Quantum of Solace, I actually like that quite a bit too. Everything is pretty good in that movie as well. And Skyfall, the first time that I watched Skyfall, just a little bit after it came out, I didn't actually like it. I found it to be boring. But the second time that I watched it, which I think was in 2019 or maybe early 2020, I liked it a lot more. In fact, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Spectre, I watched it twice. They're both boring. It was almost like they were going through the motions, especially Daniel Craig was going through the motions. He didn't actually want to make this movie. In fact, he actually said he would rather slash his wrist or something like that. And it took almost 6 years for this film to come out. Big gap between his last Bond and this movie. And but this one, he is very good at this movie. Amazing performance by him, and hats off. Signing off as James Bond, to be honest. There isn't a Bond actor who I don't like. I mean, I like Connery, of course, iconic character. Roger Moore is my dad's favorite. My favorite tend to be Pierce Brosnan, because Pierce Brosnan is a very nostalgic thing for me, actor for me, choice for me as well, because I grew up watching Remington Steele, and it's a big part of my childhood as well. And he's a very likable rogue kind of character. So for me, and GoldenEye is my favorite Bond film of all time. I don't care of anything else. GoldenEye, number one for me. And so therefore he's kind of my favorite Bond. Timothy Dalton as well. I really liked him in the two movies. Maybe he might be the lowest of all of them. I don't know. It's kind of difficult. I keep going back and forth between who's going to be my favorite, who's going to be my favorite. But I do like Daniel Craig a lot, especially in the having seen this fifth movie as well. So overall arc of him kind of makes sense. Like that his character gets killed off. But there will be a new Bond. There is talk of. Maybe Idris Elba or Henry Cavill or something. I think, what, I'm going to make a separate video on that, I guess. But there will definitely be a new Bond, even though this Bond does die. They might reboot it. I don't know what they're going to do exactly, but that's pretty good. I gave this movie an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really good movie. Watch it. It's worth watching. On a budget of around $250 to $300 million, I guess that's including the advertising and marketing as such. The movie made at the box office 733 million, but I think its streaming with streaming definitely is going to make a lot more. And in times of COVID, if we can make 733 million, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so we will have a new Bond in a few years, maybe in 2 to 3 years down the line. Who's it going to be? We don't know. But as for Daniel Craig, thank you very much for making this film. I mean, I would have preferred that he rides off into the sunset with his lover, and they get married, have his wife and baby girl, a young girl, but they didn't let that happen. But sayonara to Daniel Craig as James Bond. So anyway, that's it for me from this movie. 8.5 out of 10. Good night.